All right, Coach. Finish out the regular season with another dominant performance, offensively, defensively. It was a little bit of a weird game since you
Yeah.
had the obviously the special teams touchdown and then the two turnovers by uh, Andrew, like that basically gave you all really good field position. But just go ahead and give me your overall thoughts on the game.
Well, it was a good game. I mean, we played well, both sides of the ball. We didn't have as many yards as you're gonna get on the offensive side, especially when you start in really good field position twice. Getting two scores out of the interceptions were huge out of us, and so it just it was one of those games where again, they were going to take the run away. We didn't get to run the ball as much as we wanted to. We missed a couple throws, dropped a couple footballs, but at the same time executed and did enough to win a football game. Defensively we did well. That's probably the most rushing yards we gave up in a while in that part of it. But at the same time, was dominant. Kept him off, out of the end zone for most part. And the first half, I thought we were a little. We didn't play clean. We had some personal fouls, some penalties. There's some personal fouls you can live with. There's some you can't. When it's personal fouls for, behavior and that kind of stuff, that's frustrating. When it's personal fouls for a face mask or we had a personal foul for our leaper trying to block a kick and landed on one of their guys. That's not that's not one I'm going to lose a lot of sleep about. That's an effort thing, that just happened. So even the face mask, we had two face mask personal fouls, and those are kids just trying to make plays. I mean, that's going to happen. So, some things like that I didn't feel great about in the first half of how we played, with it because we had some penalties. But second half, I thought we came out, we cleaned it up. We played just better football. Just lined up and did the things that we were supposed to do. So, I was happy about that, and got a great win against a team that's tough, man. That's a huge football team. Their running back was one of the better players, and seeing him live compared to film, watching how hard he ran, we did some good things on the defensive side of the ball to win the game. So it was fun to get out there and turns out send these seniors out with a win on the last one.
Yeah, that was going into my next question here. Obviously, Selection Sunday didn't exactly go how in ASU's favor.
Yeah.
So, like knowing that, how did the guys take it, and then how? Well, like, what is the overall feeling headed into the offseason now?
Yeah.
Like, to get back and basically get that grind so you can ensure a better outcome
Sure.
next season?
We haven't talked face to face with our guys yet. We'll have a meeting today, this afternoon, and sit down as a team and kind of go over things. But there's definitely some guys that are not frustrated is probably not the word. Just upset and disappointed maybe is a better word than frustrated. At the end of the day, we didn't win enough games to get in, and that's unfortunate. I do think that we're one of the best 7 teams in the region. I really do. But at the end of the day, we weren't one of the 7 chosen. And I can live with the fact that, this team went out and competed even when we got that third loss. Going 7-3, we all feel like the world's going to end, in the locker room, as well as the coaches. We met today as a coaching staff, and we're down about that. But at the same time, you got to be proud of what you accomplished too. We came off of a record season last year. And anybody that's been around athletics long enough know that it's really hard to do that every year. It's really hard to win football games, and we went out and won 7 of the 10 that we played, and didn't always play great, but the other 3 that we lost, we were in those games. It's crazy. We talked as a staff. We lost by basically one. It ended up being 2 scores to Mines, but it was a 3-point game with a minute and a half to go. They hit us on a long touchdown run when we're trying to blitz. So it was basically a 1-score game. Permian Basin was 5 points. Central Wash was 3 points. We're basically 11 points away from being the number 1 team in the country at 10-0. And are we the number 1 team in the country? No, we're not. It's that drastic. And all these sports. You look at baseball and basketball and the ones that play throughout those. Getting 40, 50 games. That you can have some slide time. You can have some where you don't play very well. In football, you have the whole year to compete for 10 guaranteed 11 games, right? We had 10 this year. And if you have a slide or you don't play well in those 10 events or in this year, that can be detrimental to your opportunity to play on in the postseason. So, and that was for us this year. We got to do some things better and continue to recruit great kids. But that's how it leads us off in the off season. It's not doom and gloom. At the end of the day, there's a lot of teams that would appreciate winning 70% of their games, and we are. But at the same time, we are disappointed because the expectation is set higher than that. And that's something we'll continue to recruit and practice and prepare for moving into the off season.
All right, Coach, you mentioned a record season last year. Y'all lost a lot of talent to the portal, but y'all also brought in a lot of talent, and we obviously saw that. So I guess my question is, what's next for this Rams football team as we head into the offseason since it's such a young team?
Yeah, just continue to develop these players. It's we have so many good young kids, in the program, and I call them kids, but they're coming along, and their development is on track to what we try to do. I do think that in the transfer portal nowadays in recruiting, as well as junior college recruiting, that's taken a bigger emphasis at a lot of places. We still focus most of our work in the high schools in recruiting and developing kids, but you fall behind if you don't look at the transfer portal and do that. So you got to look at that. But at the same time, we're still going to be looking at 90 to 95% of our kids coming out of high schools and develop those kids. And you look at what we lost off of last year's team through graduation as well as transfer portal, and you're saying, well, did you bring enough in to replace that? And to me, the answer is yes. I mean, you're never going to replace some of the kids you lose through graduation or transfer portal. You're just not. That talent's too good. They've been in the program 3 and 4 years. What you have to look at is, are you setting yourself up to be successful? Okay, and the people that we brought in to replace that, where do you find them? You find them in transfer portal, you find them in JUCO, and that kind of stuff. And they came in and did a good job. But to put the pressure on a kid like that to come in and replace something that was an all-conference player or all-American player, that's not fair. So we feel like we've done a good job of replacing in time, over time, to get that level back. But at the same time, you got to continue to do it through high schools and build them and keep kids here. You got to keep kids on the football team and not looking for portals. The thing I always tell kids nowadays, and in my experiences with how the transfer portal works, okay, from Division II kids trying to go to Division I, don't fall for the smoke and mirrors. The smoke and mirrors of, hey, to take a look at my Instagram deal of me sitting there with smoke behind my back and I'm at a Division I school doing a bunch of different things, and then go take a look at what my opportunities were when I got there, and I think there's a lot of coaches at that level that talk about kids coming in being their guy when they're depth people. They're looking for depth, and that's part of it. So, weigh what's important to you and go do it. And that's my I guess my message to all kids in D2, not just Angelo State. And at the end of the day, kids got to make decisions for themselves. But we need to take advantage of the portal as well and take a look and see what's in there for us. But again, we'll stick with a lot of the high school recruiting and how we want to do it.
And then my last question, you recapped the game this past weekend, but just kind of talk to me about the whole season and your thoughts, and just recapping the whole season.
I'm proud of these guys. A couple people I'd like to mention with it. You look at Gerald Gardner coming in. That guy had basically one semester to come in and win over a locker room and prove that he's the starter of the team and play 1 year, one season, and that's really hard to do. And I think that he's come in and done an unbelievable job. He's very capable of throwing the football, and we showed that. He showed that at the times this year. But he was also such a great teammate. He did some great things for us in that part of it. But the other seniors too, I could just go on and on about these guys. Kahari Watson, just guys that have done Leighton English. I mean, just guy. I don't want to sit and name all because I'm not going to forget them. I'm just going to not be able to name them all. But they just done unbelievable for us and continued the leadership role that we need. But now it's time for other guys to step up and be leaders in it. But I'm proud of the efforts that we put in this year. All of us are going to be disappointed a little bit and not getting in the postseason. I think we would have been a tough out in the postseason this year if we would have made it, if we would have got in there and snuck in there. But at the end of the day, I can be proud of how these guys played this year, learned this year. Hopefully we'll continue to learn the importance of being consistent all the way through and just move that into the off season and how we recruit and prepare for next season.
Thank you, Coach.
Good. All right. Y'all take care.